Welcome to Touring Trails. I'm Jim. This week we are back with the old 78 Jeep, a Wagoneer, the old rusty wagon, and we're gonna address the interior this time. Now that we got it running, you know, almost like new, we got some issues to take care of inside. First, we've got way too much stuff that needs to get cleaned out. So it came with, you know, do-it-yourself project, right? Yeah, a little bit of mouse come and take it, trying to keep the rodent control down. But we're gonna get all this out here, clean this thing out, and I'm gonna show you the easiest way to fix holes. That's a score there. That's actually in really good shape.
Yeah, it is.
Just needs a little cleaning. All right. So, ventilation. Toyo tire. That might actually be original. Nope, made in Japan. Certainly they didn't do that. Whooch, yeah, that's some holes. Yeah. All right, let's climb in. All right. First real good view of everything. That looks normal. And what about down here? A lot of daylight. So unfortunately, the way they make these are single walled. Just once it's rotted, it's rotted. See some foam over here, so somebody tried to do the old spray foam trick. That always results in worse than what you started with. So what should we do with this old pig? So what if we used license plates? Cover up these giant holes. That fits actually pretty good. Something like that. Something like that. And bend one up around the corner. Next thing you know, most of the holes filled in. We'll still have that corner back there to address. I think that would work for this side. I got a greater challenge over here. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I should just foam it in. I don't know. I think that'd be the easiest way to keep critters out. For some of these smaller holes, I'm gonna use a very scientific approach for this. And you know, this is science. You can't deny science. All right, so you see holes like this. Have plenty of those. So, taking any advice from science, we're going to do the right thing. And look at that. Factory finish. All right, need to do a little rocker panel repair. This is one of the more difficult parts of the build. It does require welding. Stand back and shield your eyes. Welding, welding, zzz, welding. Zzz, zzz. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Look at that. I can't believe my eyes, but I have to because I'm looking right at it. This new rocker panel. Don't look at that. All right, just came back from the restoration shop to buy some floor pans. Luckily it was in stock. New floor pans are kind of tricky. You gotta pay attention. This one's really not in bad shape. Okay. Put one there. Ah, I'm glad I bought it. I bought 2 sections of floorboard. They were in good shape. I might have to do some bending on that. And get that poking in the fingers. That would require a tetanus shot. Nope, not today. All right. Tack that down, it'll be good as new. That's all good. All right, we got that. Yeah, maybe I do need to repair just this one. Alright, shield your eyes, welding. Here we go. Alright, welding. Whew. Might need to buy some sheet metal for that. Don't think my welding patch is going to work. Alright, so yeah, started to think about a few things. And I'm not real proud of the rocker repairs I did. Everything else is perfect. Rocker panels though, So I spent $55 to buy a rebuild kit for both rocker panels and also to fix all of those big holes in the back of that Jeep. 55 bucks, everything's gonna be just like it was when it was new, so it's all in that bag right there. All right, first rocker panel right here. 5 feet long, so dang old Wagoneer, just kind of big, you know. So 5 feet, gonna get me from that edge about right here, which should get me right past the worst of that rock. So just double check here. 5 feet, boom, right there. So it'll do the job. These new they don't give me instructions of how to paint match it for the factory, so it may have to just be that black primer color, I guess, for a while. I do need to get the old Tanya Harding out and do a little bit of bending here, so we call it restoration. Yep, restore. Oh yeah, perfect. Looks great. 4 inches. Shoot. Not quite enough, is it? That kind of sucks. I'm sure hoping that would have covered. Well, let's just do what we can do. And at the end of the day, that's all we can do. Do it. So I grabbed the can of the big gap filler in case I find any big gaps. Not likely, but problem is I've got to get this thing rodent proof pretty quick. Winter weather's coming and they're gonna be looking at this place as a premier home. You can see someone else has already done the foam thing before, so I mean, really not gonna hurt this thing any more than already it's been hurt. Yeah, you see, you just persuade it into place. That's all you got to do. Gentle persuasion. Looks factory finished to me. So, what about over here? That's a lot to fill in, right? Let's see what. Yes, I did that. I filled up the rockers with foam. I can hear the hate coming out already. I understand. If you remotely have anything worth restoring, that's not what you want to do. You got to understand, I'm trying to keep animals out. Trying to keep from giving myself tetanus when I climb in and out. And all that's got to be cut out anyways to be properly repaired, so it's not hurting anything. I typically work on campers and go camping, but auto mechanics, been a while since I've done that, but I did buy the right stuff. I bought a press brake for working with sheet metal. Got a whole license plate here. That's gonna work. Woohoo, woohoo. And you know, somebody threw a couple of cold snack empty ones on my property, and you know what I'm thinking is maybe, you know, go back here, do a little fancy trim work. That ought to work well. So speaking of tools, you know, I mean, I've got some kind of doodads and gizmos and gadgets like this. You know, it's just a, you know, what information do you have? You know, just the fingernail puller rockers. Yep. Harbor Freight's best. I don't even have a drill, so I got these self tappers that I'm just gonna zip, 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 zip right on in. I think it's gonna look like it's brand new. So let's dive in. All right, full disclosure, there's some rust on this, so I want to be careful. Put these fancy gloves on. They're really for like winter, but they're gonna work for this, at least help a little bit, so I don't jam all the, you know, get the lockjaw thing going. No, don't need that. So let's fix this the right way. So press brake right there, curve around a little bit. There we go. That's looks perfect. Luckily this has a lot of play in it. That's gonna help. We're gonna just jam that dude right up in there. Crunchy, all kinds of noises. That's okay. Let's see. Tell me, does that look square? I hope so. All right, so I do have this old nifty little, I do have an adapter and a self tapper. So let's see if we can get this in place. Sure would be nice if I had a normal drill. Put some pilot holes in it. Nah, who needs that? Who needs magnetic tips either? So, just like I knew what I was doing. Ooh, nothing there. Gotta find some better metal than that. There we go. That one held. Don't need this thing flopping around. All right, good news. I went to the local AMC dealership, bought some more sheet metal, so we're back in business. There, delicately get the right geometry, trigonometry. Let's see. Okay, now. I want you to take a look at this quality. Look at that. Sheet metal fixed. How about this one? Hole is filled just like new. If I want to come back and do it right, I'll knock those heads off, fiberglass over it. It'll actually work for what it is. Beige, Malaysia, whatever we want to call this. Old Roddy wagon. You tell me, what should we call it? It does have another name. It is a Frank. Frank the Tank. Playing around a little bit. Well, that's gonna do it for this week's episode. Running out of some daylight here. Got a lot done today. It's coming back around. It's running good. Shifts, does all the things it's supposed to. Filled up some holes so we can keep the animals out of it. But next time, we're gonna do some more permanent repairs on the inside. So some of those holes that we just covered up for now, we're gonna find a more permanent solution for that. So stick around for that.